Hello, my beautiful sisters. How are you today? It is week 3 of Self-Acceptance Month, and today's talk is part 3 of our deep dive into self-acceptance. And the theme for today is open throat, open Yoni. Today we speak about a very important yet overlooked topic. And this is the connection between our voice and our yonis, our throat and our pussy. A lot of us have a very big disconnect and blockage to our authentic expression. And this comes from generations and generations back in time when women weren't allowed to speak out of line. They weren't allowed to hold strong opinions. We weren't allowed to express, allowed to take up space without being ridiculed, banished, beaten, criticized, and even in the past, burned at the stake. I'm sure we've all heard that saying, to be seen and not heard. No wonder we automatically have a disconnect to our voice. And for maybe for you, it wasn't so long ago in your past. Maybe you have or had parents, partners, colleagues, even friends shutting your voice down. So whether it is a past experience for you or a recent one, this stays in our body as stored trauma, and it truly is up to us to change this so that we don't spend the rest of our lives living with this disconnect, the disconnect from our pleasure and our truth. So we are the ones, unfortunately or fortunately, depending how you look at it, who have to put in the active work to reconnect our yoni and our throat, to rebuild that trusting relationship between our expression and our pleasure. Maybe you weren't even aware that this connection existed, and that's okay because I wasn't either. Not until very recently, and not until I really started doing this deep dive internal healing work on myself. We are sexually expressive women. We are vocally expressive women. And for a lot of us, we are lucky enough to be in a position now to rebuild this relationship. A lot of us are now in a position where we are safe enough to now start finding and accessing this power within us. So my beautiful mentor and friend Rosie Reese talks about this connection a lot, and she is such a pioneer in the field of women's sexuality. And if you aren't following her yet on social media, then I really want you to go and search her and follow her Instagram and Facebook. She's also the creator of Yoni Pleasure Palace. Today, we speak about our throat chakra and our sacral chakra, our yoni and our voice connection. It is no coincidence that your expression is directly linked and connected to your sexuality. When your voice starts to open, your yoni starts to open. When your throat starts to open, your pleasure starts to open. Singing, yawning, moaning, sounding, authentic expressing, public speaking, talking from your truth, honest communication. These are all things that help to open and activate your throat to your pelvis connection. When I was younger, like primary school, I vividly remember having a huge blockage in my speaking. I can remember not feeling comfortable raising my hand in class to answer questions. If the teacher pointed me out and said, "Ricky, what's the answer?" I would just be this bumbling mess, even if I knew the answer. Standing in front of class was just, I had so much fear around speaking to my peers. And I can even remember my younger brother and my mum, if we were ever to go out to a restaurant, those two would have no problem telling the staff if they weren't 100% satisfied with their order, whereas there was absolutely no chance in hell that I would be making a scene like that. And in my mind, that's what I thought it was. Even if it was just like, can you cook this a little bit more? It's something so simple. But being a dancer and doing a lot of musical theatre really, really helped me find more confidence in just public expression. And even for a short time in grade 12, I joined a public speaking group in school and really pushed myself out of my comfort zone and did a few public speaking competitions. But talking in public was something that I started to build a little bit more confidence around. But what I still had a disconnect and a blockage and a fear around was my own authentic expression. So I was fine playing a role, in a musical or acting out some other character in a play, but being my true self and owning all of that, there's still no way. So I noticed this also when I started having romantic relationships. So I felt that I couldn't speak up in the bedroom, like my voice would be taken away from me. And did you know that, in realizing that, I did a little bit of study. And did you know that there are actually parts of a woman's brain that switch off during sex? Completely off. And one of these parts is our ability to speak. Does that resonate with you at all? Because that definitely, when I found that information, it made so much sense. Having the ability to say, that doesn't feel good, let's do something else, or that's a little bit painful, or even the other side, of the coin, and saying, this is amazing, I want more, keep doing that. So even when I started trying to vocalize during sex, I found it so difficult. And again, we have to build up this connection between our yoni and our voice so that we know now that we can communicate to our brain what we want to be able to set our boundaries. We don't want to live with this blockage for the rest of our sexual lives. It's been many, many years that I have been working on my authentic expression, and that's just it. That's in all areas of my life. And it's still something I catch myself falling back into old habits with. In some areas, I now find it really easy to speak my truth. Like around my emotions, I'm very connected to my emotions now. And in other situations, I still find that it is a struggle. Like in the bedroom during sex, when that part of my brain does switch off and I have to really focus and really connect with what my desires are to be able to speak them. But I have found that there are some true moments when I feel that I have this yoni to throat portal completely open and in full connection. And when I do feel like I'm in that moment, it's friggin' epic. And it is that journey, it's that roller coaster. Our throat and our yoni are the two main outlets of energy, like gateways or portals where things can either enter or be released from. And it's actually crazy how similar these parts of our body are. So think about this, the jaw and the hips, the throat and the vagina, our lips and our labia, the cervical spine and our cervix, even sharing the same name. So cervix in Latin actually means neck. And if you were to look at the anatomy of your yoni and the anatomy of your throat, it is incredibly similar. So I want to share some information on the vagus nerve. Now, have you heard of this before? The first time I heard of the vagus nerve is when I was training with Rosie in Perth to become a Naked Awakening facilitator. She was the one that truly, and in this training to become the facilitator, introduced me to the yoni voice connection. And it was like a huge aha moment. It made so much sense. So I'm going to get a little sciencey here about the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is the 10th of 12 cranial nerves which spread out from the brain and into the body like an intricate network of roots. The vagus nerve is the longest and the most complex of all of these cranial nerves. So each of the nerve networks work as lines of communication between the brain and the body's systems and organs, and the vagus nerve is the queen of the parasympathetic system, which assists in controlling the body's relaxation responses, digestion, heart rate, respiration, sexual response, and immune regulation. So the parasympathetic system is our rest and digest response. It's our healing system. So branches of this vagus nerve are connected to the heart, the lungs, the immune system, the digestive system, and yes, the pelvic floor. So this nerve runs from the back of your head, down your throat, and finishes in your cervix. So this doesn't run down the spinal column, but runs alongside it. So interestingly, if a woman has spinal surgery or becomes a paraplegic, it is still possible for her to have cervical orgasms because of that vagus nerve, from it starting up here and finishing in the cervix. That's incredible. So it is also believed that by stimulating the vagus nerve, this can activate the response and the release of oxytocin, noradrenaline, and serotonin, aka the feel-good neurotransmitters that we all crave and that we thrive on. So if we women, we queens, we goddesses, we don't start to realize that our yoni has a voice and is connected to our own voice, she can take over. She can start to speak for you. If you don't listen to her or acknowledge she has a voice, you may notice things starting to happen within your vagina. This could be your yoni trying to speak to you, trying to get your attention. You might notice things like dryness, low libido, pain, thrush. My sister, she's speaking to you. She's not happy about something. So building this relationship, building this connection, being aware that the connection is there is our first step. So I'm going to guide you through a practice today that you can do as often as you feel you want to start opening your throat and your yoni, and it's called vocal toning. Just sounding in different pitches and being aware of that connection and feeling it. So the intention here is to be doing something that opens the throat, that moves the energy through your body, through your voice, and allows you to really hear yourself also without judgment. And by actively sounding through your throat with your attention also within your pussy, you will feel that both of these chakras can start to open. So we are going to start with a jaw massage. So find yourself seated comfortably, relaxing, opening your mouth wide. Maybe you want to yawn. Shake your jaw side to side. Bring your hands up to the side of your face where your jaw connects top to bottom. And find that sweet spot and start to massage around this part of your body. So your lips are parted, your tongue is off the roof of your mouth and it's sitting in the back of your mouth, back of your throat. You're breathing in and out through your mouth. And while we're up here relaxing that whole top of that whole jaw, close your eyes and now also relax your stomach. Were you unconsciously just sucking in there? I was. So relax your stomach and then relax your pelvic floor, because your stomach also is connected to your pelvic floor. And I talk about this in my Naked Awakening women's workshops. Soft belly, open heart. And I have said that to you before. If we are sucking in our stomach, our pelvic floor is actually activated as well. So when we are doing this exercise to open our throat and open our yoni, it is relaxing of the jaw, the throat, the stomach, and the pelvis, the whole thing. So get yourself into that space where all of that is relaxed. Jaw, lips, tongue, throat, belly, pelvis, vaginal canal, vaginal opening, your perineum, your anus, your whole pelvic bowl, your whole yoni, and massage your jaw. And you can do this as long as you need. If you are finding that you have a lot of tension and it takes you quite a while to get to the point where you feel that all those areas of your body are relaxed, do this as long as you need. Touch those parts of your body. Make this your own special practice, your own ceremony, your own ritual. For some of us, it's going to take a lot longer. It might be easy to relax your jaw, but you might really find it hard to release in your lower body. So pause this video and take as long as you want, putting on some music, maybe even being naked and using massage oil or coconut oil to really drop into this space. And what we're going to do is, with your eyes closed now, finish massaging your jaw, everything is open and relaxed. We're going to open up our mouth. We're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to sound our first ah. So you can pick whatever note, whatever pitch, whatever sound is ah that you want, and then we're going to change to a different sound. And what we're going to do with our eyes closed is visualize as this energy is shooting out of our mouth and you are feeling your vocal cords vibrating and everything is starting to open in your throat. You are going to visualize that your yoni is doing the same thing, your sacral chakra. However you want to visualize that, that's going to work for your mind. Both these portals are opening and energy is moving out. Everything is relaxed. And if you catch yourself tightening or tensing in any place during this, take yourself back, breathe, maybe do your massage again, and get yourself back into the flow. So sitting relaxed, we're going to take our first ah. Deep inhale. And visualize the portals opening. So I noticed then that I sucked my stomach in, and halfway through that ah, I had to consciously relax that lower half of my body again. It's going to take some time for us to, to rebuild this connection and to get used to this. Let's do it again. Choose a different note. Maybe you'll find a note that is the sweet spot for you. Maybe it changes. Maybe it can be soft. Maybe instead of just sounding ah, you want to sing. If you are a singer and you want to hit a certain note, maybe you can try om. But we want to open the mouth, open the throat. So I'm finding for myself, the lower, the deeper the frequency I hit, the easier I feel it is to open up from my lower chakras. So play around with this. Maybe you want to start moving with your body, dancing with yourself, touching your yoni, your lower chakras, your lower belly. You do this, the easier it will become for you to drop in. It takes some time. So this might be one of the first times that you are giving your yoni permission to open up and to speak. And maybe during this exercise you might get some messages, you might get some downloads. What does your yoni need right now? What does she want? Maybe there's something that you didn't know was being held in there subconsciously, a memory, an energetic imprint, and it comes to the surface for you. So be open, have an open heart, open mind to what might arise within you from doing this practice. So put on your own music. Maybe if you are finding resistance to sounding, put on music really, really loud so you can barely even hear yourself. And that way you can let yourself go as loud and express as authentically as you need to do. Loud music is a great way to do this. So my sisters, I hope you enjoyed today's chat. I really hope that you enjoy this practice, and I'd love to hear all about it and how your body has responded to this. And I will see you next week to close off our self-acceptance month. We're having our online women's circle. So if you want to invite any sisters, then please do so. This is the 24th of November, 2021 at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I love you all so much, and #replay, comment below. Love you all, sisters. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.